How swiftly everything disappears, our bodies in space, and the memory of them in time. This is one of my favorite quotes from Marcus Aurelius from Meditations. It is a quote in Book 2, paragraph 12. I don't have that at the top of my head, I just looked at the book. um, this quote is a great way to realize that you're not as important as you think you are. There are many that have come before you, and there are many that will come after you. Um, we often carry a sense of grandiosity in our life. Um, there's a part of us that where it makes sense to have main character syndrome or feel like we're the center of the universe so we can build our own life, but at the same time, we tend to forget that we're just a tiny blip in the timeline of all of existence. Like existence has been going on, like we are like a hair on a dog's body if we were to quantify what percentage of existence we actually occupy, and that even itself might be an exaggeration. So when we walk around with the fear of how we are perceived or the fear that other people are judging us, we tend to forget that we don't live a long life in the span of existence at all, and our name will be forgotten relatively quickly in a couple generations. I mean, yeah, sure, there are a lot of figures in the past that have made changes to the political landscape or the structures and systems that we have today, but they're just names in a book. Like Julius Caesar is just a name in a book. That he is literally just a name in a book. He has 7 letters for his first name and 6 letters for his last name, 13 letters. That is what his legacy has endowed um, from a physical perspective. I mean, the impact that he's had on systems, it's probably great. It's probably grand, you know. I mean, he probably has a couple statues and all that around, laying around, but to live your life in a way that it's your life is very important because you are not here for a very long time. And you need to throw away that sense of self importance. Those are chains. Those are chains of fear that prevent you from being in the present moment, like present here and now. I mean, Eckhart Tolle talks about that in Power of Now. People are constantly in the future or they are in the past. They're very rarely right here, right now, using all of their neurological efforts to enjoy what is in front of them, whether that be food, whether that be speaking to someone, whether that be consuming some information, whether that be traveling somewhere and enjoying the views. I mean, what do people do in our modern day? They they are attached to their phone when they're traveling. They are constantly taking pictures so that other people can recognize where they are as opposed to truly enjoying the moment. More people should actually just leave their phone at home when they're traveling and just purely take in their surroundings. People online actually don't give a fuck if you're traveling or they don't care. They don't care. People are always trying to put up this illusion that, hey, I'm doing something with my life or I'm doing, having fun. I want to let everyone else know that I'm having fun because I see that everyone else is having fun. Um, if you're truly having fun, you don't need to take uh, a loudspeaker and broadcast it, like a megaphone and broadcast it to everyone. Like, oh, I'm having fun, guys. Don't you see me? I'm having fun. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with taking pictures. I'm not trying to hate on that. Um, it's just I guess the importance is to be in the present moment because when you're a participant as opposed to spectator in this life, you will actually maybe even get to know some of the locals. You will hear some of their funny stories. I bet they have tons and tons of funny stories to tell and make you laugh and really ingrain into your memory that experience. You don't remember going and taking a picture of some landmark. You could potentially remember a great conversation you had with the local. So the quality of memories is relatively interesting. Like how we, because what it comes down to is how do we feel in that moment? If we feel something very potent, there's a bigger chance that our brain will capture that as significant. If we feel something lackluster, it's easy to forget. It's really easy to forget. And I guess an example is when I went I traveled to a couple places in Europe with my ex girlfriend, her younger sister, and her boyfriend. So it was all four of us. It was Croatia. We went to I'm blanking out, but a couple different countries right now. Let's just say that I don't want to take my sequence of thought out of what is actually important. What is important is that I was a spectator while I was there. I was purely a spectator, um, not actually in the environment, but like just viewing things. I could have literally went to Detroit and went out to a bunch of food places, and seen like some buildings and called it a day. Obviously, it's not to that extent. There's some cool things to see, but your experience is extremely enhanced by being a participant within life, as in interacting with your environment. You have a stable sense of identity within yourself and self acceptance, so you don't mind putting yourself out there. That is literally what putting yourself out there means, is to be stable enough within yourself where you can actually acquire more information about your surroundings. Or else it's just like you walk around, it's a bunch of locked doors, locked experiences that you could potentially be having. But instead, you choose to just resort to the low end of things that you can interact with, but don't interact with you, like viewing scenery or foods. You eat food, it doesn't do anything to you. When you have to talk to someone, you have to they give you some input and you have to give something back. um so I mean, when I traveled that time, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still better than, not better, but like I'm still a little bit better about it than a lot of people. Whereas like I'll try to chat up the waitress or waiter. I'll try to ask some basic questions at that time. Now it's a different story. Like I don't have the same funds that I used to have to travel. I used to have enough funds to travel to a new place every week because I was running an online business and doing consulting at the same time. I was made Money would come very easily to me when I was in a greedy mentality. But the crux of it, the paradox of it, is that I could never truly enjoy it, or I could never actually be a participant because my mind was always circling. Uh, Doing something I didn't like, and I never really had a stable sense of who I was. So if I didn't have a stable sense of who I was, how could I interact with others around me that I didn't know and still be the most authentic version of me? If I didn't have a stable sense of who I was, then it would be most likely that I would be putting on a facade in front of them. And me personally, I try not to be a man of facade, so I'd rather just not at all. And that can be chaining. That takes an experience that could be 200% and makes it into 20% of what it could be. I mean, I enjoyed a lot of good food, don't get me wrong. And we had a couple of decent conversations amongst my ex and her younger sister and her boyfriend. But, um, I mean, could have done that same shit in Detroit. Could have done that same shit instead of really get into learn about how people grew up. Um, some people might have language barriers, but I'm sure you could find others that um, would be willing to talk. And second of all, energy just speaks for itself. Sometimes you don't even need to speak the same language, but you guys know what you're talking about. Or you have a gist of what we may be talking about. Sorry, I'm still a little bit sick and I'm working on it. I don't know what I mean by working on it. I'm taking some basic medication and trying to um, not put myself in situations that would make me more sick, aka cold plunge for 30 minutes. I've taken a break from that last week, and I'm trying to be forgiving with myself, because that makes me feel powerful, and to not be able to do something that makes me feel powerful makes me feel powerless. But again, be humble, have humility, because I'm human. um, so yeah, it's I know the conversation started off with the topic of that quote from Marcus Aurelius regarding things being, and a lot of this comes back to just being present. It's truly about just being present. Yo, I have to use the bathroom. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm back, as you can see. Yeah, Marcus Aurelius's quote is extremely important, especially in the fact that a lot of the people you try to appease or try to want acceptance from, they are usually only in your life for max up to a decade. You are going to be living hopefully 7 to 10 of those. All right, 10 if you're really lucky. Um, so it's more important to be yourself, not just throw away those ideas of how others are feeling about you. The best way to do that is to have less thoughts, really, because just for me to tell you these words is difficult. Like, you might in theory understand them, but once you get in those situations, your body almost has a response. So meditating will actually lower the amount of thoughts that you have in general. Uh, and If you're lowering the amount of thoughts you have in general, then there's less chance of you having thoughts of others perceiving you. But when you throw away that need for acceptance because you realize it's completely irrational, and if you need to act a certain way to be accepted by people around you, it's probably better that you're not investing heavily into these relationships, because there are people in the world that if you're not harming someone, if and your mentality is good, and but you still are authentically yourself, they will accept you and love you immensely, 10 times more than the people that you need to put on a certain facade or act to be accepted by. So just it's very important to remember that we are just a blip in time, and you know that I kind of wish that on that trip I was actually a participant in life, because the way that I am now, the way that I approach life every day is not every single day. You know, I have tough days too, but when I am in a state of freedom from thought, I just go up to and talk to anyone. It's funny, like when I had the funds to travel wherever I wanted to, I personally sports gambled a lot of it away, trying to get rich and trying to gain the acceptance of people at that time. But yeah, I was able to had the opportunity or the capacity to travel wherever I wanted, like multiple times a month if I really wanted to. Uh, if I had those same means that I do now, I think about this sometimes. Like, I can't wait until I start to figure things out financially, because when I do step out, and like I will be I'm already so interested of seeing and learning about some of the same people that I see every day that I've been seeing for a couple of years now. So imagine for me to do that on a larger scale. Like, I would like to go to Japan. I would like to go back to Europe, and experience the world in with a with. I feel like I was looking at the world with broken glasses before. I couldn't see everything, and a lot of my focus would have to go into, man, these glasses are cracked. I might be focusing on the crack, which, let's just say the crack is symbolic of some sort of trauma. It's almost like I've gained my eyesight back, my vision. I'm able to take these glasses off, or I have repaired them. So now I don't see any imperfections. Um, it's not that I don't see any imperfections, but I've worked on my own trauma, and I've accepted my imperfections. So now I don't project that out onto the world, or have the belief that other people are as traumatized as me, and they may very well be, but I'm in a place where I've accepted myself enough where I can still have that freedom and that leniency with people and that understanding of where it comes from. I have much more awareness. I like to think in terms of systems. I like to think in terms of how things affect each other, how cultures affect people. How do they grow up? As simple as it doesn't have to be complex. I would really just be interested to. I find a lot of dopamine in even hearing what someone grew up eating. How do they grow up going to school? How does it compare to how I grew up going to school? You know, these types of conversations that are really about the human experience excite me. They make me laugh. I laugh a lot easier now. I'll just laugh about something that is that is that I used to just be like, that just seems dumb to laugh at. No, I'll laugh at it now because I enjoy the concept of laughter and sharing of good positive energy and vibes. Um, yeah, and a lot of that is being present, completely present. Um, a lot of that is even if someone has a slight smile on their face, maybe it will make me have a big one because my whole neurological effort is going into being here and being here right now. It's not 20% is not getting subcontracted to thinking about my past. 20% is not being used up on anticipating the future. And that's another trap people fall into on trips is a huge thing. And I'll give one more story because why not? I really do really like going into the memory bank, and every time I remember some of these things, it just solidifies for me. I try to be objective. By the way, I know that there's a great concept and there's truth in it that every time you pull from a memory, it just modifies a little bit. For me, I just try to remember the underlying reason of why I remember that so significantly. But I just remember the concept is that when people are going on trips, they usually are always like, they need to fit the people. Many people get extremely stressed. They're like, oh, I need to get to this place, then this place. And they're constantly like, what are we doing next? Like, without enjoying what they're doing right now. Um, or having a freedom of sometimes you can just have some basic ideas of what to do and do as you feel. Do, however you feel like. Let's just say you had a whole day planned out, but then you decided, hey, right now I'm not really feeling stacking everything up and going out and doing all these things. Why don't we just go and hit the beach and just relax? And then if at any point we want to pick up on one of these things that we put into our itinerary, they may have been scheduled, by the way, so you might have to work around that. But then you can go and do that when you feel like it. You should do things that you feel like doing. You shouldn't just do them for the illusion that you're achieving something or having fun or you've got things done. You should actually enjoy them genuinely. You should check if you're smiling genuinely in these moments. But this specific example is from when I went on a cruise with my cousins and to Miami, and it left from Miami and it went to the Bahamas. And I remember sitting down to eat with some of my cousins. There was a food hall. Food was good. It wasn't like anything that blew me out of the water. Because first of all, I can't swim, but it didn't blow me off the boat and into the water. Let's say that. Because if it did, then you probably wouldn't see me here right now making this video. But here I am, so nothing was blown. Pause. I'm kidding. Um, yeah, so my cousin, when we were sitting down, I was just patient. This, mind you, this is a couple months after my awakening, and I really had just been enjoying who I'd become, or in the process of who I'm becoming, and really understanding a lot more about life and my emotional regulation, what I want out of life, gaining true dopamine because I was not because, but overall just moving towards my authentic self. And well, I didn't need to explain all that shit just to say that I was just trying to enjoy my food. I explained a whole fucking like I went into the bag to explain one simple thing is that I was trying to enjoy my food. The rest of these guys, my cousins from the UK and my cousin from Canada, were eating, and they wanted to go to this play or something like that. This there was like a play on the boat, like one of those like Broadway or something, right? And I was just like, nah, I'm still eating. I'm just gonna chill here. I was taking my time eating, you know. I was like, you guys can go, no problem. Like we have plenty of events. We don't have to go to every single thing, or I don't have to go to every single thing if you want to. But one of my cousins was just like, what are we doing next? What are we doing next? What are we doing next? You could not sit still, man. Could not sit still, and at that time it really didn't unsettle me. I just kind of like saw it for what it was. Nowadays, after receiving some more trauma, I might be a little bit unsettled and disgruntled. It's something I'm working on. At least I'm aware. But yeah, he just constantly was in a state of like, what do we do next? Constantly. And I realized like, if you ask some of these people that are like in these states of like, they're just zooming through, if you ask them particulars or details of what they've consumed, they can't tell you. They usually have like a blanket statement to describe the experience that they just went through, to give the illusion that they were there and that they were there mentally. But in all reality, their mind cannot sit still and enjoy it. So it's just saying, what do we do next? What do we do next? Like, I can't sit still. It's a representation of the mind, the inability to sit still. So yeah, my younger cousin was just like, and at one point he just got really upset at me for not wanting to go and like called me an asshole. And I was like, bro, really? Because I don't want to go to a play? Like, you guys can go, man. Why are you tripping about me not wanting to go to a play? Like, it's a fucking play. I don't even, you know, it's not that I wouldn't enjoy it. It's just I'm enjoying my chicken fajitas more right now and just sitting and relaxing and just enjoying my time. That's what I'm enjoying right now. You guys go, man. No problem. It's not like I'm trying to spite them at all. It's not that I don't like them. It's just I was choosing me. And sometimes when you choose you and you don't choose the rush that other people feel, it can unsettle them. So he started screaming at me and he like moved the table and I was like, bro, are you actually joking right now? And at one point I got up and I looked at him. Eventually I cracked. I'm like, motherfucker, do we have a motherfucking problem? Do you have a problem with me eating my motherfucking chicken fajitas? I am hungry. I need protein. I work out a lot. I'm fucking hungry. I need to eat tacos. It ain't Tuesday, but let's pretend like it's Tuesday, motherfucker. Kidding. But yeah. And I like eventually got up. I'm like, bro, get off my back. You guys go, you know? And yeah, it's a lot of people the way people's being is like if you see someone that's erratically moving or has a like extreme sense of just strong like inability to sit still, it is because their mind is moving a million miles a minute. They likely have extremely high anxiety. Their mind is unraveled and it's just running like think of like when you heat water up and the molecules in the water, they're like bouncing and ricocheting off and shit, and the friction in between that is what creates a heat. But that's not the point. I was just flexing some knowledge there, but realistically it's just that their mind is like ricocheting 1,000 thoughts at once, doing all that shit. And yeah, it's the friction, the heat is probably what causes them. They can't sit still because they're fucking burning up. I don't know, not actually temperature wise, but they just can't sit still, bro. And you'll see this. And one last thing, just because it comes to mind, I find this last one very interesting. Is a very good representation too of someone's mental state is when they're in somewhere like the cold plunge. You will see that. uh, you can see the stillness of mind if they do have something like that. Some people will get in there and they'll pretend to be still, but they're like Like right from the beginning. I'm not saying like for me 20 minutes in, 25 minutes in, that makes sense. But right from the beginning they're like super tense, and like you know how they say if you get hit in a car accident and your body is tense and shit, if you hit their body, they probably break into like 500 pieces because their body was their bones were that tense up. And then you'll have like people. I saw a woman the other day. She's just kind of swimming in the cold plunge, like coolly and calmly. And when I talked to her, she she had a calm and cool response. Because I asked her, I'm like, "Oh, doesn't isn't it colder when you move around? Because you do warm up the water that is directly contacting around your skin. So if you're still, you have a likely of a chance of creating an envelope of warm water. That's just the way I think of it. I mean, it is true. And she's like, yeah, but I just like getting my mind off of things. I mean, she didn't answer the question logically, but it's okay. But I just appreciated the way she was moving was just cool, calm and coolly. And for me, when I'm in those states in the cold plunge, and I worked on this for quite a while, so I'm not trying to just flex and say I'm cool or this and that, but I sit in there as still as possible as I can, and I try not to move. And towards the end, um, I do start to move because my body starts to have a reaction, not because my mind is. My body starts to decide, hey, you shouldn't be in this for a lot longer. You don't want to incur any health problems unnecessarily. But yeah, a lot of the way that people are being, like you will, whatever that's going on in their mind, they will represent it on the outside. So yes, stop giving a fuck about what people think because life is short. Your life is tiny compared to all of existence. Stop rushing everywhere. Let motherfuckers eat their chicken fajitas if they want. Um, when you go on trip, sometimes leave your phone at home. You don't need to show everyone back home that you're going on a trip. They don't have any memory storage in their brain for that. They already can barely remember they got going on in their life. Just do you. Enjoy the views. Enjoy the food. Enjoy the people. Enjoy the conversation. Enjoy the culture. Learn about the political system. Learn about their problems. Learn about their pain points. Think about a product that you could sell to them based on those things. No kidding. Just truly enjoy this shit. That's why I made this channel. Um, I like to just bring awareness, at least the awareness that I've achieved. And also, if you have feedback or you think I'm wrong in any way, I am open to criticism. Please criticize me. Please bring criticism my way so I can learn. I'm a student of this game. I never become a master, and I never will become a master because there's always something new, motherfucker. They just came out with AI. That's fucking you. There's so much more now.